Hill sponsors Joshua vs. Molina on Sky Sports Box Office.
Here with Roy Tapia, who will be taking on Ronny Rios on December 16th at the Fantasy Springs in Indio, California. Talk to us about the fight, because this is by far your biggest test in your young career.
Yeah, definitely. Every fighter got to take that step. You don't know what you can do until you really test yourself. You could be padded up your entire career, but you really don't know what you're made out of until you take that step. This fight is really important to me. I'm fighting a seasoned fighter. Ronnie's been in my position before. He's taken his chances before, and he's passed his test. So this is gonna be my chance to show the world what I can really do with this fight. It's a real tough fight, biggest of my career, and I'm taking it just as that. I'm working. I'm treating this training camp exactly the way I should be, like a professional, doing everything I need to do, staying on top of my game, and just doing everything that I could to come out with a victory on the 16th.
2 years ago, Ronny was knocked out in the same venue in Fantasy Springs. Could he be going back to a bad memory?
I don't think so. Honestly, I have respect for all fighters, but Ronny, out of all fighters, I've looked up to Ronny before, and I know that Ronny is a very smart fighter. He's very experienced, and he's smarter. He's smart. He's a better fighter than to let that get to him. Mm-hmm. He's rebounded from his loss already too. So being in the same venue where he got knocked out, I don't really think it's gonna faze him. He's gotten wins under his belt. He's got a title under his belt. He's refreshed. He's refocused, and I'm expecting the best Ronny that night.
What are some of the strengths and weaknesses you see in Ronny?
Definitely his mind. He's a great technician. I've seen him fight from the beginning of his career when he used to fight at the Club Nokia. I've seen him fight a few times there, and he definitely knows how to adjust. If something's not working for him in the early rounds, he knows how to make the adjustments and come out victorious. So that's gonna be something I need to stay on top of. As he makes his adjustments, make mine. And also, his speed. Ronny's a very fast fighter. He's smart, and he's really fast with his hands and his legs. So I'm just gonna be able to. I'm gonna need to stay on top of him 100% and be exactly how they call me, man, a pitbull. I gotta stay on him.
And that's where you get the nickname? Pitbull?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah.
So you're 12-1 with 6 knockouts. Ronny is 26-1 with 11 knockouts. He's a little more experienced than you. He's got a lot more fights. He's a little older, only by a year. Will that experience be a factor, or will you be able to adjust in that fight, considering that you have less fights?
There's something like my dad used to tell me, and you know who else used to tell me too? Edwin Valero.
Bad man.
It don't matter who you're fighting. It don't matter how many fights he got, who he's beat or who he's lost to. At the end of the day, when you get in the ring, he has 2 hands and 2 legs, and he feels just like you feel. So, in the end of the day, it's gonna be an even fight. I know, regardless of his experience and my experience, when we're in the ring, it's gonna be an even fight, and people are gonna realize that very fast in the first round.
Who do you think is the one of the top guys in the 126 division? And when I talk about top guys, one of the youngest and top fighters, because you got fighters like Oscar Valdez, you got Joseph Diaz.
Easy, I'm talking about Jojo, man. That dude is bad. I was able to get a couple rounds in with him for this training camp, and that dude is something else, man. I'll tell you something, man. He hits hard, he's fast, and he is smart as hell. So he's definitely one of the top, for sure.
Is that a guy that you possibly see in your future?
Yeah, definitely. As long as I'm comfortable at 22. I'm super comfortable. This fight's gonna be at 24, but after that, I'll continue to 22 until I feel like I need to move up. And if Jojo is still in that weight class, then definitely, if that's what the fans want to see and that's what makes more sense, then I don't see that not being a possibility in my future. But yeah, definitely, Jojo Diaz is a great name. I'm hopefully, God willing, I'm able to get to that level, and he is too, and we can make a really big money fight, later on in the future. But definitely, he is a name in my mind for the future.
You just talked about being very comfortable at 122 pounds. Ronny's featherweight at 126. That's about 4 pounds separating the weight class. But you're fighting at a catchweight of 124. Why did you decide to go up 2 pounds against Ronny Rios?
It wasn't really me deciding. It was kind of being in my position. I'm coming off of since I signed with Golden Bull, I gotta win, I gotta draw, then I gotta loss, and then I gotta win. So honestly, I'm not in any position to demand anything. You gotta do 23, 22, or it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I'm fighting, I'm working, I'm doing my job, and the fights get offered to me, and this opportunity got offered to me, and it got offered to me at 24. And if I wanted to take it, it was gonna have to be at that weight, because Ronny is a shot caller right now. He's definitely he's gonna come in as the so-called favorite on paper. So he's a shot caller. He's gonna be able to say, what weight it's gonna be at. So it is what it is. Honestly, I want the opportunity to fight a quality fighter like him. So if it was gonna be at 26, I would have jumped on it at 26. But it is what it is. It's gonna be 24, and at the end of the day, we're still gonna throw down.
For some of the fight fans out there that are asking themselves, this is Roy Tapia, why does he call himself the Pitbull? Give us a little glimpse of your background, where you started boxing, your style. What is your style like? Give us a little glimpse of who you are.
My background, man, I grew up in East LA. I started training at the East LA Sheriff's Gym on Humphreys and Cesar Chavez. I started with Clemente Medina. He's 100%, you could say, a professional style coach. He had Edwin Valero, Daniel Ponce de Leon, and Mike Anchondo. The first day I walked into a boxing gym, when I was about 9 years old, those were the first 3 fighters that I met. So from the get-go, I never really trained to be an amateur style fighter, to hit and move. It was always really inside fighting. It was really to do damage, I remember my first week in the gym, my first combination was jab, jab, right, body shot, hook. So I mean, come on, for a little kid to be learning jab, jab, right hand, body shot, hook, you're learning you're molding a kid into a professional fight, into a pro style fighter. So my entire amateur career, I did about 80 fights. I fought a lot of top guys that are professionals now, and I lost a lot of close fights to a lot of the top amateurs. But it was also, again, because my style was never really like a really flashy, fast boxing style. It was always go forward and rip the body and just try to stop the guy. As I got older, I lost almost all my fights from when I was 9 to 13 years old. I lost almost all my fights. And once I turned 13, and I guess I got my little growth spurt, I started knocking kids out, hit with body shots, and I trap a guy in a corner and boom, rip the body, and kid would just go down, and that was it. So that's where I started getting the Pitbull from. People, hey, he's like a little Pitbull, he's like a little Pitbull. So okay, so the name kind of stuck.
Now, there was a time where you stopped boxing for like 2 years. One of the reasons was your father got deported back to Mexico, correct? Talk to us about that time and how hard it was to be away from boxing.
Let me tell you, since I can remember, really, I've always been around boxing, or always been around the gym. So my dad's always been on top of me, just like all these kids that are in the gym with me right now. Their fathers are on them, and just like I was too. When I was little, my dad was always on me. So I guess I could say sometimes I got sick of it. Sometimes I didn't want him there. I felt a lot of pressure. And when he got taken away, he got arrested and he got sent to jail. And I was about 2 months away from being 18 years old, so I wasn't really gonna go with anybody. I wasn't anybody's responsibility, so I kind of lost my head. I stopped boxing, so for the first time in my life, I was like, ooh, I'm about to be 18. I don't have my dad and then at the time too, for the past 4 months, about 3-4 months before my dad got arrested, I was trying to get ready to debut. I was gonna debut right at 18, and we're gonna go to Mexico and debut out there. And I was with Clemente Medina, and me and my dad started not seeing eye to eye because of the fact of how hard he was with me and all the stuff he would tell me at the gym, and just how hard he was on me. And I told my dad, you know what, like I don't need you in the gym. We just didn't see eye to eye. So when that happened, he got arrested, he got taken away from me. I was sad that I didn't have my dad, so I turned to a lot. I lost my head, and I got sunk into the streets, man. I was like, I did an interview a few weeks ago with the WBC, and I told them at that time, man, for those 2 years, I got stuck on ecstasy. I was doing a lot of ecstasy, and I was just drinking a lot too, and I just completely lost my mind. So, like I said, I didn't have my dad, I didn't have anything, so I didn't have to box. I didn't have no one barking in the back of my ear, hey, get up, go run, go do this, go do that. So I went on my own little adventure for 2 years, and in those 2 years, I was on my own. I found myself. You know what I mean? I started working I was working in Vegas as a palm tree trimmer with a good buddy of mine, Douglas, out in Vegas. He's a very good friend of mine. He hooked me up with his job. He moved me into his house. He fed me. He took care of me. You know, he tried to get me back in the gym. And I liked the money that I was making from, you know, it was my first time in my life. I was 18 years old making money, so I was like, okay, cool. I want to keep doing this until, you know, just by myself. I realized that that's not what makes me happy. You know, getting up, working all day, getting back tired from really busting my back and doing something that I have to force myself to do. And I told myself, you know what? I need to get back in the gym. This isn't me. This isn't who I am. I boxed almost my whole life, and I'm gonna continue to box. This is what I want to do. So I made a phone call. I called my advisor, Albert Vasquez. I talked to him. He told me, all right, son, if you're really serious, it's been 2 years. If you're serious about coming back, here's a number. His name is Cesar Garcia. If you want to come back, give him a call. He'll help you out. And I'm like, okay. And I remember I sat on my bed for about a week after work every day looking at this little paper with his phone number, Cesar Garcia, with his phone number on it. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not gonna call him. And one day I picked up my phone and I called him. I'm like, Cesar, he goes, hello? And I'm like, this is Roy. He goes, Tapia? I've been waiting to hear from you, man. Albert's been telling me, call me, man. What's up, my boy? Like, hey, bro, I want to get back in the gym. He goes, don't trip, what's up, blah, blah. You know, we talked. 2 days later, I was back in Cali. He picked me up. He took me to the gym. 3 months later, I was debuting. After 2 years off, I trained for 3 months, and I did my professional debut. And 5 years later, we're here, getting ready to fight Ronny Rios in the biggest fight of my career.
So you made the best decision.
I made the best decision, man. It was very hard, and my dad was very heartbroken too in those 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, I would talk to my dad in jail, and my dad would be like, you know, please just go back to the gym, son. Go back to the gym. I'm tired of that shit, you know. Like every time I go to the gym, I hear your voice, telling me things. You know what I mean? Talking bad things to me. I hear you barking at me the entire time, and I just don't want any part of it until one day man, that's what I need. That's who I am. That's what I want to do, and here I am.
What makes Roy Tapia so much better than Ronny Rios?
You know, man, I wouldn't say a better fighter. Mm-hmm. I'm just, you know what, man. Ronnie's had his piece of the pie already, and I haven't had mine. You know, I get really emotional when I talk about this because this is like, I win this fight and all the doors open up for me, for my daughters, not for me. For my daughter's future, you know. Really, me, I don't care. I can have the same pair of shoes for a year, you know. Have the same shirt, the same two shirts, and one pair of pants for 3 years, and I'll make it work. My daughters, I want everything for them, for both of my daughters. And winning this fight, man, is it puts me there. You know, Ronnie's had his pie already. He's had his piece of the pie with whipped cream and shit, and I haven't had mine. You know, I haven't had mine. And this fight is the deal breaker for me. If I lose this fight, I get kicked to the side, man, and I'm just gonna be an opponent for everybody, a fucking stepping stone, and I ain't about that. When I go into this fight, this is do or die for me. This is my daughter's future, or I gotta go get a 9-to-5. You know, straight up, one of those two. So this fight, I wouldn't say what makes me better, it's just what makes me hungrier this fight. You know, I'm a lot more hungrier than Ronnie, and that's what people don't understand, man. This fight, I'm gonna go in there and literally it's do or die for me. I'm gonna go in there and I gotta leave everything in the ring. I can't step off that ring and tell myself, man, I should have done this, I should have done that. Right. Because when I fought Eric Ruiz and I lost, that's exactly what I did. When I got off the ring, I was like, man, I still have all this energy, or I still have this, I could have done that. And I see my daughter, man, and it's just. It completely breaks you. Mm-hmm. I lost, knowing the fact, not even really losing, just knowing the fact that you didn't put everything that you trained for into the fight. So, like I said, man, it's not really what makes me better. It's just what makes me hungrier, and it's my daughters this time, and it's the fact that Ronnie is my piece of pie. And I'm gonna eat that shit on the 16th. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna eat it, and it's gonna be great.
I mean, it's pretty clear that your mind, your heart, your soul is very invested into this fight. Now, when you fought Eric Ruiz, you were heartbroken after losing a split decision. How difficult could it be, again, if you were to lose this fight closely? Would you give up boxing? Would you just quit?
Not at all, because I don't have...
Losing's not even in your mind.
Losing's not in my mind. Losing's not in my mind, right? But realistically, you gotta look at it. In my mind, I'm gonna fucking win this fight. I'm gonna win. But you know, you gotta think too. Like when I took the fight, right? My manager asked me, "You want to fight Ronnie?" I go, "Hell yeah, I want to fight. I don't have nothing to lose against that guy. I'm 12-1. He's 26-1. He should be disrespected at the fact that they even offered him to fight against me. Look at on paper. You want me to put it on paper? He has over probably he was a professional about 3-4 years before I was. Okay, let's say 2-3 years before I was. Let's start at that. He has 3 years more experience as a professional than me. He has, I can almost guarantee about easy over 70 amateur fights more than me, right? He's fought 10 rounds plenty of times.
You spoke highly of him as an amateur.
He was a great amateur. I was never ranked. I was never ranked as an amateur. I never won a gold medal at no national tournament. You know what? My bad. I won the national Hispanic, and which is nothing fancy. You know what I mean? And he's won great, real solid tournaments.